I like for them to come and just live with me for a week and see what you have to do when your school is about to go belly up. There's no course you can take. You know, every day you're making a decision that you never thought you'd have to make in your life. St. Paul's was started in 1888. It was elementary, high school, and then in the 1940s, the General Assembly gave him permission to start a college, four-year college.
Historically, black colleges and universities were founded throughout the country, and they were started prior to the Civil War. A large percentage of them were started post-Civil War. These are institutions that were by and large birthed out of religious denominations. St. Paul's College was birthed out of the Episcopal Church.
He obviously do not look like what the typical Negro looks like. He's extremely fair-skinned, and so they thought that using those qualities, he could come to the South and create a facility and a church.
These are important institutions that are unique, unlike others, in the sense that they were designed with a mission to educate black Americans, Americans who were, for the most part, prohibited from an American education.
Typically, the campus had anywhere from 450 to 500 students on the campus. The campus is about 132 acres with about 36 buildings on it. We have a lot of buildings around here that need some major upgrades, not major work, because the students built some of these buildings, and you can see they're all brick. They're not going to get blown down by the Three Little Pigs. But when you have a three-story building with no elevators, well, how do you get the disabled people into your building? If you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have cable TV, if you don't have the latest computer equipment, you know, students are going to go to UVA, who is now offering free room and board and tuition if your family income is below a certain level.
The National Trust has equally placed the entire historically black college and university landscape on the endangered national treasures list.
I think that the former leaders didn't really keep their eye on the ball. I think they made some decisions that a good manager would not make. One was the return of football. You know, to bring football back to campus with at best 500 students. You're giving them full scholarships. Well, that's not money, that's just paper transfer. They just kept saying everything is okay, and everything wasn't okay. We couldn't pay the bills, we couldn't pay the debt. Our accreditation was gone, and there was no reason to continue the campus. So I went to the board. I said to the chairman, you just can't close this campus. I said, there are too many things, too many appendages hanging out there. You have student records you have to protect, both the academic and the financial records. You're coming on the winter. These are old pipes in the ground. They're going to freeze and break. You got to have somebody to answer the questions from the Virginia Employment Commission, from the federal government if they ask, for those persons who are eligible for Social Security. You can't just shut this school down. I said, you need security on the gate. I said, as soon as the element learns that this school is closed, they're going to back in here with their big pickup trucks. They're going to ransack the buildings. They said, but we don't have any money. I said, well, then we got to find a way to find money. We've got to keep it open. Abraham Lincoln, it's a gift from an alum. You know, I sold off some non-essential equipment on the campus. We don't have football anymore, so I sold the bleachers. And so we began to find money, and then I cut the budgets from $250,000 a month down to $55,000 a month. I began to find documents in the budget office, stocks and bonds where people had left us and given us that we needed to cash in. We made a plea to the Episcopal Church to give us money, and they gave us some money. We made a plea to the alums, they sent us some money. So instead of closing June the 28th of 2013, here it is almost June of 2014, and we're still in business. Then the board came back to me and said, would you agree to be the president? We can't pay you anymore, but we'll give you the parking space near the building. So I said, that's fine. I'm not here to try to get rich.
The transformation of the higher education landscape requires, whether you're an HBCU or traditionally white institution, to really begin to think innovatively and broadly about what an academic campus entails.
I would like to pass on to HBCUs a couple of things. Number one, and first and foremost, you're not going to get the premier black student like you used to, because now UVA, Virginia Tech, Southern Cal, they're going after those students too, and they can make a better deal than you can. You have to change with the times. You have to make sure your campus is modern, okay? And you've got to reinvent the wheel in terms of who now becomes your core student. It's not the valedictorian or the salutatorian out of the high school. It may be the person who just got a straight B average. I have a staff of about 22. I said to the staff, I expect each of you who are remaining to make a monthly contribution to the school. And most of them do. I do out of each one of my paychecks. I have two people who do the maintenance. The board has said to me, can you just do with one person in maintenance? And I said, I can't, because if one person goes up on the ladder and falls, who finds him? I said, I need two people, if for no other reason than safety.
I'm a second generation graduate. My mom graduated here. And so I feel a real closeness. And so I trust and I believe by faith that we will be opening as a college once again.
They're still pushing me a little bit to get rid of employees, and I'm pushing back, because I can always go home. But that's not the attitude I want to have. I want to negotiate with them and fight when I have to. You can see, the classrooms are usable. I hope that a year from now that you will see some life on this campus. And that's the term I use with the board. I said the campus has got to be alive and look alive in order to attract a suitor.